Today I decided that we should be doing some crafts, and what I've chosen to do is something that I've called nighttime snail. So what we're going to have is this black colored background, which will represent the nighttime, and then I've made here some picture of a snail. So I'm going to just cut the snail out. So if you want to do the same kind of arts and crafts, what you're going to need is some different colored papers, up to you what you want to do. So we're going to be doing the snail, and we're going to be doing some flowers. So whatever color you think is suited for the flowers that you're doing. And you're going to need some paper for the snail, what I'm doing now. And we're going to be filling this snail with some rolls of little rolls of different colored papers. So if you want to do a very colorful snail, then I would say, okay, go for very colorful paper. And if you want to stay a little bit more conservative, maybe those browns and this kind of beige and all those colors would be good. So there we go. We have a, oh, looks like we don't, still stuck somewhere. I was going to say we have a snail. Now we have a snail. There we go. So that is our snail. And what we're also going to do is we're going to make some flowers for the snail. So maybe we start from the flowers. So what I've done is I've got ready some different colors. So I've chosen to do blue. I've chosen to do pink. And then I've got this baby blue. And what I've done is I've taken these A4 sheets, and from the shorter edge, what I've done is I've cut. So basically what you can see here is you can see A4 sheet length. So some of these flowers are going to be bigger, some of them are going to be smaller. And for the bigger flowers, we're using this whole length. And for the smaller flower, what we're doing is we're using just a half a length, right? So let's get stickering. I've also made these little circles. That will be the middle of the flower. So let's start with the blue. What you need is a Pritt stick. You just go with the Pritt stick and you dab a little. And where you've dabbed, that's going to be the middle of your flower. So also stick the middle of your stick in it. And then what we're just going to do, we're going to be layering these. So I've got 5 sticks per flower. There we go. That's 2. And then we're going to do 3. And always just the middle on top of the middle. 4. And 5. There we go. So now we've got 5 in there. And now to make that look like a flower, what we need is, again, more glue. Just make sure you put enough glue. If you've got a different kind of a glue stick or whatever glue you're using, it's helpful if it's one of those glues that really dries so that you can't see it. So then what you just do is you go around and you, now I'm gluing myself in it as well. So you basically just move everything to the middle. All of these need to be stuck in the middle. And as you can see, it's already starting to look a little bit like a flower. There we go. Let's put some more glue so that I can stick into the paper a little bit better. I don't feel fully stuck yet. There we go. Yep. More glue. And guys can probably guess what comes last on top of this. It is gonna be the yellow center. Whoop, everything is getting stuck in my stick. There we go. And everything is bouncing up as well. There. And one more. Ah, sticky, sticky. Stuck. There we go. Okay. So once you manage to get it to look like that, that's already looking lovely, I think, as a flower. And then we're going to take one of these yellows and put it in the middle and just try to get a lot of glue in it so that it will hold it well. There we go. And we have a blue flower. And then let's try to get some of it off my fingers, because otherwise I'm going to be so stuck to that flower. That is going to be incredible. Okay. Biana is saying hi. Myla is saying hi. Hi. It's lovely to have you all here. Then what we're going to try to do is repeat what we've just done. So let's try and do another one. So let's go and put that glue in the middle and then start sticking everything together. So those already, because they got stuck in my glue stick, ended up quite sticky. So they already have some glue. Luckily it went in the right place and not just in the middle. Well, in the middle of the flower petals as such. There we go. There, and one more. There we go. Yep. And then we do exactly the same thing, and we're starting to put that in the middle. Hi. I can still do that. I'm not too glued. There we go. So let's put a little bit more glue in the middle, and then we start pulling backwards and sticking them in the middle. Yep. It's good to feel sticky. Ha. Very, very sticky. I feel sticky. I feel sticky. Yep. But I can't sing. There we go. Getting there. So we're going to soon have another flower here. Oops. Yeah. And then what we're going to try to do, so the third one that I've cut, that is smaller. So I think that might end up being trickier to turn. So these took, just to remind everybody, for these I used 10 strips out of an A4 sheet short side. And what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna do halves of the short side. Whoops, there we go. And then this one is gonna get a bigger yellow. I'm gonna do that. If you want to make cards or something, I think this would be quite useful as a card as well. Will definitely pop out. There we go. And let's hope that sticks. So now we've got two flowers there. And then we have this little blue one. Now wish me luck. Let's see how I will stick myself into this. So again, the same. There we go. I think this might be harder because it's smaller, but let's see. And this one, because it's a lot smaller, it will make so much smaller flower, then everything needs to be smaller, and you can't put as many. So here, I think what we will do is we're gonna go with these 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so you will need to cut 2 full length pieces and then sort of half them. So we're gonna, oops, there we go. This is gonna be a very small little thing. Whew. Unless I get stuck to it. and then it's gonna be my sized. Let's hope it works. Oops. There we go. Hi. Oops. Yep. Let's get some more stuck to the middle. There we go. I'm warning you guys, it's a lot harder to make these little ones than it is to make those big ones. Those big ones are a breeze in the park compared to these. But these do look quite cute if you manage to get it done. There we go. And then what I do need is a little bit of glue in the middle and a little bit of glue in the smaller circle. So you just make a smaller circle and you stick that in the middle. Look, it's already bouncing up again. Whoops. There we go. And there we got a cute little blue. So we've got a couple of ones here. And then we have the snail. So what shall we do with the snail? I think the first thing to do would be to actually glue it in. And then we're gonna start filling it. There we go. So again, let's glue. And I'm thinking that for the snail, if you got like a runny glue, that might work better, but I have just this glue stick, so we're gonna see how well this is gonna work. So there, we're gonna put the happy snail there. There is our snail. And then what we need is we need to make a little bit of a line here around. So I'm just measuring how long that is. That is approximately the size, I think. And then I'm gonna glue this together. And what this is this is gonna be the sort of a lining that keeps all the little things inside, and I'll soon show you what to do for the insides. So there we go. Let's hope that sticks together. Seems to be wanting to bounce out. There we go. Okay, so now we've got that. So what we're gonna do for this is we're gonna do different colors again. So I've got this paper. So if you got so this paper is quite a good quality, so it's quite thick and it gives you a nice this kind of round shape for the flower. This paper is a lot weaker, it's not as good quality, but it will work very well for this. So what I would do is again cut these stripes that are approximately maybe 1 centimeter, half an inch in width, and then you need to start rolling. So what you do is you just roll, and we're making these little rolls. I guess everybody has their own rolling technique. This one I'm doing like that. And then the idea is to make these little rolls and fill that shape, that round shape that we just did with it. So we've got rolls. Whoops. There we go. So we're making these kind of rolls and we are filling this shape with it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some glue. Actually, you need to put a lot of glue for this. This is why I said that maybe for this phase, it's best if you have one of those really glues that are liquid rather than this kind of glue stick. But let's see how far I get with this. Let's see if it works. Right, so we put this on the edges and then we need to start filling. And hopefully, if we are lucky, these should hold. But we will see if they will or if they won't. So I've made a couple of these ready, because I thought that then if I don't, you will end up just watching me scroll these. There we go. So what you do is you just put and you fill your space with these. And what I would also suggest is that you sort of tighten these so that they don't end up starting to go completely open, which is what I have now forgotten to do. Oops, doesn't seem to be sticking anyway. Huh. Okay, and there again, let's do blue. And the beauty of this is that you can do as many as you like. You can do them at different sizes, and they all will look slightly different. So you will get this kind of living edge to your snail. Looks like a living structure. There we go. And we're going to be putting again here some glue. And then you just continue filling it. So you can do little ones, you can do small ones if you like. You can make it full of very tiny little scrolls, and that will look pretty too. So I've chosen to do different sizes. Here. Let's do some more green. This green, as I said, that because it's a bit of a lower quality paper, it actually works really well for this purpose. It doesn't need to be very, very strong. It sort of molds better when it's not hugely strong. Let's put some more glue there, and then let's put some blue in it. There. There we go. So we already have a partially filled in snail. There we go. Some more glue, and we stick that together like that. And I think that one goes there. Yep. And then let's put some pink. So you can really just choose what kind of colors you want. If you want to put a snail that is really sort of happy and colorful, you just choose stronger colored these little rolls. I feel like we need something small in there. I think I've underestimated the amount of pre-made scrolls that we need. Might need to wrap some more. There we go. Let's put that there. Let's do some yellow. There we go. So we've got some yellow there. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to need a few more, and to me it looks like perhaps something like blue might be nice. There we go. Let's sticker that. Let's connect that as well so that it doesn't go walkies. Connecting them to the side, connecting them everywhere so that it doesn't go everywhere. Yes, what did I say? I said blue. Blue would be good. Yeah. So just cutting here a little bit more. One blue and perhaps two blues. There we go. And then it's just a question of scrolling it. Yeah, just making this little ones. There we go. And then what I will do is I'll put some glue in the end, and I will let this a little bit looser. There we go. And it sort of undoes the scroll a bit. And there we've got blue scroll, and I'm going to put it there. There we go. And we're going to do another blue. So those who didn't see, we already made some flowers. Here are the flowers. So you just take these the similar kind of pieces of paper, and what you do is you stick them in from the middle, and you bend over, and then you put a lot of glue in every little place, because otherwise they will just end up disappearing, and then you sticker the thing in the middle. Hi again, be a nice thing, hi. Okay, and let's put that blue, and let's stick it next to the wall so that it stays there. Okay, and a little bit more color, I think. Shall we do pink? Let's put some pink. We do need a couple of more colors. Just a couple of more. Do I do another pink somewhere? I could do 2 pinks. There we go. Right. And the same thing continues there. But what I'll do this time is I'll actually let it a bit more open, and I'll stick that to the side. Whoops, let's those go. There we go. And then one more pink. If you wanted, I think you could do 2 colored, and just put some on the inside. And I think that if you have this kind of like a liquid glue, I think this is where it would work really well, because you could just sort of adjust that little scroll, how it looks like, so that rather than it all being a bit clumped, you could sort of make it into a scroll that looks more like this. Yep. Okay, let's put that in. Let's put it there. And then what I will do is I'll put some green. Our snail is getting readier. There we go. And there we go. A couple more of these. So whatever your technique is, you just keep scrolling. And I'm going to put some on the outside. There. Right. And I do feel like we could put a little bit more at the bottom. We almost have our snail ready. Oops. There we go. There's our snail. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this snail an eye like that. There we go. That is our happy snail. I do feel like it needs a couple of more scrolls actually. I was thinking it's ready, but no, I'm not thinking it's ready. Let's put some yellow. I think it looks better when it's completely filled. Oh, for now I've done a silly. I put the glue on the wrong side. But hey, what's more fun than being completely caked in glue while you're doing your arts and crafts. Nothing is more fun than that. There we go. So we've got yellow. I think that looks already better. And another yellow. There we go. So that's almost a snail ready. Whew. I am looking forward to washing my hands, getting rid of some of this glue. Feeling so sticky, very sticky. There we go. Like that. There we go. Okay, now I think I will declare the snail ready. So we have made a snail and some flowers for the snail. And it's all in the night time. So let's hope the snail enjoys eating the flowers or looking at them. There we go. So this was today's arts and crafts session. Yeah, let me know if you like, comment and subscribe. Thank you very much for being here with me today. Hope you have a lovely day. Bye!